Well, hello there. I'm not really playing any songs today. Today was a bit of maintenance on my guitars. Any craftsman has to look after the tools, right? So here, let's move this out of the way a little bit. I was changing strings on my guitar today. Oh, I should plug it in. So yeah, I got this guitar maybe 2 months ago now. Um, so I thought I'd change strings on it. It's funny. My decisions to change strings on a guitar are pretty straightforward. What ends up happening is all of a sudden I put the guitar down and I switch to another guitar. Lots of times it's because I can't make it sound good anymore. This particular guitar is just flat and my strings are. I just felt like it was screeching all the time, and sharp and flat, and I was getting a lot of feedback, and it just didn't feel right, and it's hard to explain. I'm not a good enough guitar player yet that I'm like, oh, this is what it is. But what I find is all of a sudden I put a guitar down, and I kind of stop playing it, and that's a good sign for me that because just say, I don't have the feel anymore. I can't make it sound good. Lots of cases, I'm finding what it is time to change strings, and lots of times that makes it go better. Get some volume here. Um, I got an electric tuner. So what you do with these is you just set it to chromatic. It's rechargeable. See? Whoops. Fire it up. It's USB rechargeable. I just hang this on the end of my guitar. I can tune kind of whenever I want then. And I just tune it up. It's scary tuning a guitar when you change strings. Because you're tightening and tightening and tightening. E flat. I'd show you, but it doesn't matter. There's E. So again, I've just changed strings on this. E flat, E, F, F sharp. A, there's A. Let's get some volume so you can hear what I'm doing here. So you tune it a couple times gradually. Flat, C, D. 88 Dynamite. Goodbye, Eddie. A. Oh, for goodness sakes. I went backwards there. And then I'll show you what you gotta do now. I'm gonna get this set up. 88 Dynamite. Flat. Literally sounds like a bomb about to go off. And I had that happen one time. I tried and tightened my acoustics so bad that I blew the string out. I was pretty embarrassed, but I had never done it before. Goodbye, Eddie. F, G, sharp. Sounds like it's gonna explode. A, B flat. G. Sharp. She's gonna blow. B flat. C. Ugh. So once you've done that once, it still sounds wrong. You gotta stretch them. And you kind of keep doing it. You kind of stretch it a little bit. So, I was going to show. So, strings for this guitar, I'm just using these. Ernie Ball Slinky, regular Slinky. It's the same as strings I use on my Stratocaster. I asked the guy at the shop, and they come with 10 gauge strings. Interesting, I just had a discussion online a few days ago on what gauge of strings people use on these 335s. Some people said they thought it comes with 12s. Other people said, no, you're crazy. But the shop where I bought it says the 10s come on it. They're a nice middle of the road string. Some people I thought of going to a heavier gauge because with the kind of playing I play, I could have the strings a little harsher, fatter, a little more bass because that's what I like. Some people say that's a myth. They say Stevie Ray Vaughan used 9 gauge strings, really light strings. They say it's good for bending. So I just changed the strings. I was going to do a YouTube on changing strings, but I'm not good enough at it yet. And sure enough, I did my acoustic guitar backwards, the high strings. I got some products for cleaning the guitar. I got some lemon oil for the fretboard, and I just applied that. And I got some polish, some Gibson polish for the face of the guitar. It's funny, your hands are grimy and oily. The guitar is meant to be handled right, so it's never going to be perfectly clean, but I give it a good cleaning. I just kind of do it when I change my strings. That seems to be good enough for me. Guitar is meant to be played, right? So your hands are greasy and dirty, and that all gets picked up on the strings and the fretboard and the face of the guitar. You get oils from your hands, dead skin and it kind of builds up on your strings, and that makes them not work. And every time you pick up a guitar, you tune it. Lots of times you're tuning up. We're always tuning up, not down. So the strings are always getting stretched. And as you work them, they stretch out. And eventually they get too slack like that, and they don't respond well anymore. They're a wound string, hey? They've got a metal core string, and then they're wound around to give it that tensile strength. You can see it a lot more on acoustic guitar strings. I found online, again, talking with some guys on an Epiphone group, there's a thing I didn't even know was a thing. They call it an Ernie Ball hybrid string that has a heavier gauge for the bass strings. The bottom 3 strings are a heavy gauge, and the top 3 are a lighter gauge. So this 10 gauge, the heavy strings are an 11 or a 12, and the lighter strings are 9s. So you can bend more. I don't bend. I don't know how to bend. The thing about bending is you're not just doing a bend. You got to bend up a half a note, or a full note, or a note and a half. And you got to bend properly to stay in tune. You don't just bend wildly. You got to bend so that the string goes up in tune. Say half a note up or half a note down. I don't know how to do that yet. So anyways, I just thought I'd mention it. I'm not really playing guitar today. I'm doing a bit of maintenance, cleaning and treating the fretboard and getting myself in tune. So hopefully, like I say, I tune up, I stretch out, and I'll play a little bit. I kind of run into a bit of a roadblock with some of my songs. I downloaded the tabs, because that's all I use, for half a dozen songs, 6 or 8 songs, and I only got 2 or 3 that are maybe doable, and I sort of been practicing them. I find lately, guitar isn't just a hobby. All this stuff, it almost has to be an obsession for you. You end up playing every day, and if you don't play, you get antsy, right? And it's just the nature of the beast to try and get better at it. You want to play every day, kind of all day if you can. I think anybody's hobby, tell me if I'm wrong. Anybody's hobby is that way, that it sort of becomes an obsession. A hobby isn't really a hobby. If you like it, you're thinking about doing it all day. I know people that say shoot guns. You'll hear them talking about, or hunt. They're talking about guns all day, talking about hunting all day. Guys that play golf, the number one thing on their mind is going to the golf course. This is no different. I kind of think about this all the time. I had some downtime yesterday. Was over with the in-laws. We were doing some barbecuing and some smoking actually, and we had some downtime. And I would play my guitar. I took my guitar with me because I'm like, oh, I should have some downtime. I'll play guitar in my spare time. We had some lunch and they turned on Judge Judy. They were watching Judge Judy, and I'm like, watching TV. I'm like, I just assume play my guitar and stuff like that. And I find they were running around doing their work and whatever it is they're doing. I just sit in the corner playing guitar. If someone stops to listen, I'm pleased that they'll listen. But you know what? If they want to talk amongst themselves or do something else, I'm here to play guitar. I'll just play. It doesn't really matter. I just need the time. Put the time in. Yeah. So that's what I'm up to today. No real songs yet. Hopefully this afternoon or maybe tomorrow I can spend some time. Oh, talking about strings. How often do you change strings on your guitar? So these strings here, this is a 3-pack I got on Amazon. But strings are $10 a pack. I get a 3-pack for $20 on Amazon. I find the way I play, they last me about 2 months. Some people say, what are you talking about? You can go a year. I find after about 2 months of the way I play and how much I play, I just find they just sound dead and lifeless. So I change them. I didn't really want to change both sets of strings today because I hate it. I think most guitar players hate doing their strings, but it's necessary because you could be playing guitar, right? So you just assume play. You don't want to spend an hour or two cleaning. Who wants that, right? So yeah, these are $10 a set, and they last me about 2 months. I know there are better strings. There are these super long life strings that are like, last 3 times as long, guys say, but they cost twice as much. It's interesting, like how much I play. Like I say, guys say, oh, I might change my strings once a year. Well, I find they don't sound right after about 2 months. It's about what I get. And like I say, I don't notice it, but all of a sudden they just don't sound good anymore. So that's kind of my rule of thumb. I like to alternate. I don't want to spend all day changing guitar strings. So lots of times I'll try and space it out. But I had the time today, vacation days today, and it's rainy and windy outside. So I figured, well, I'll change the strings on my guitar. So anyways, I'm just going to tune this bad boy up. And I'll show you what happens with the acoustic guitar, and I'll talk about that for a minute. But like I say, I've talked for a long time, and just trying to do a bit of maintenance today, and hopefully I'll come back with some songs and we can get back in business here. Anyways, I've talked a long time, so you have a good day and talk to you soon.